Ha! Hello. I always start like ha ha. That'll teach me. Fishing for Sean's. Fishing for Sean's stream earlier on. Let's just make sure that all of those are muted. Yes. They are now. Echo, echo, echo. We know, Oliver. We know. David Cousins. Caroline. Caroline. And Susan. Hello. Uma. Hello. Of course, Oliver first in the chat. Followed very, very quickly by Peter. And then Graphic. Let's just call him Graphic for now. Followed by Graphic. There we go. Good. Hope we're all doing well. I've got to be honest, I'm still exhausted. I am right on the edge of tipping over into exhaustion, but a couple of hours in the afternoon will be just fine. Just fine. So, yes, amazing how this camera actually makes my skin tone look normal, whereas on everything else, it looks, on the other camera, I look partially dead. Oliver's saying hi to you. Caroline said hi to you earlier on. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, and Uma's waving at you. PJ's here as well. This is good. Yes. Excellent. David Cousins, by the way, there was something else I saw earlier. I thought, I wish I'd sent you. Oh, I know what it is. I've got something else to send you. Thank you, Uma. Uma, really, that's my beard. Yes. It's apparently it makes me look younger, taking the fullness out of the side, apparently. But I like it. I'm getting it going under here, so there we are. Yes. And it's been trimmed a tiny bit. Yeah, no, I've got a tiny a book thing to send you, a sketchbook thing. Yes. Or I'll pop down to Swindon with it. Let's just pop to big screen just for a minute, Chloe, for the thing. Just to explain, so to people who are watching on YouTube, and in fact are watching this on demand, what happens here and on YouTube, there are no subscriptions available for YouTube at the moment. That's because there are tiers there, and we've got to kind of work out how we can sensibly meet that without offending any other subscribers, right? So all of the streams stay free for 7 days, right? Most of the streams, will then disappear and become subscriber only, and at the moment subscriber only on Behance. So you'd have to get an Adobe ID, come along to Behance and watch them just there. Okay, the occasional stream will stay on there, but it really is the occasional stream. So that's how and why that works that way. So you don't have to message me on Instagram or anything like that. Just hear these words, and that's why it is. So there we go. If you are a subscriber, by the way, and we've got a few in already, welcome. Thank you, subscribers. There is a file available for this particular stream, so you can go ahead and do that. Chloe's got some books to send me to. She has not. Her postage privileges have been revoked. And if I do come down to Swindon, I legally have to go and say I do. It's true. I don't. I respect the law, David. I also have to go and see my friend Karen as well, because I know which one of the two of you is more likely to do me violence and it have an impact, and I think it would be Karen. I've just got to say that, but because you're too nice. Anyway, I am in a new chair today, so I'm having fun with it. It's super tippy back. Just the moment, it's only delivered just before the stream, so that should be fun. We'll see how that works out, and it's not terribly comfy at the moment. I haven't set it up properly, but there we are. Right, okay, so hello Gareth. You have not missed anything yet. We always reserve the first 5 minutes for chat stuff and all of that. You've got a thumb left home. Why is that? Oh, if you're going to start making juvenile stuff, mate, there's plenty of other streams to look at out there. The most I'll hurt you is if you catch my stubble when we hug. Oh, There we go. Right, so let me show you what we're on with today. So what we're on with, I can just close that up for now and work on that later on. So on the InDesign Kitchen stream, okay, we have a multi-part thing going on there relating to EPUB, and the book we are using for this reflowable EPUB is The Hound of the Baskervilles by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And in a crossover, cool. I always loved it when shows did crossovers. But in a crossover, what we're doing this week and next week is we're actually producing the cover for the book, and that will close out next week. So I did say last week I thought it'd be 2 parts, but actually on looking at it, the InDesign Kitchen thing, that's definitely going to be 3 parts. Okay, so tomorrow we'll be doing a bit more, carrying on where we picked up where we left off the week before. Gosh, you can tell I'm tired. We left off the week before, and then the following week we'll be wrapping all of that stuff up. So there'll be more stuff. There we go. And Gareth is going to be on his best behaviour. This I like. Right. Funny's good. Pure or funny, not so good. But there we are. Right. So, if this is the sketch that you can get hold of, let me just. Sorry.
Can't see it.
Oh, they can't see it. Okay. Thanks, Chloe. Was going to actually be one of my upcoming questions. No. It's a good thing. Let me just take this to 60% just for the moment. Just here, then they'll definitely see it. Interesting that they see it in the shadow. Just there. So this is the scribble that you get. Oliver likes crossovers sometimes, less so when the episodes are on different streaming services. Oh, well, you're right, because this is all on one. So that's good. Can you tell us what you have a new office chair? What sort of office chair you want to know? Is that what you want? Is that what you're after, Gareth? But let me know. Yeah, so this is a sketch we're going to work with. I've now got to see if I can work out where we can meet the best of both worlds here. Why do I have a new office chair? Just because the other one has a faulty gas lift. And so it just goes down slightly throughout the day. Some days, but no rhyme or reason to it. And also, the chair that Chloe normally sits in is really for another thing over there, and it's not very comfy for Chloe, so she's been moved into that. PJ might have to leave early, work-related training. I'm just going to try and tint this back down a little bit further. Chloe, can you just keep an eye on that for me while I do that? I'm just going to see if I can drop it down to 20% just here. Yeah, cool, great stuff. Okay, we'll lock that. Right then, so shall we get cracking? We're going to do, essentially, we're going to do the building part. We're going to do the dog. We're going to do some of these radiant rays here. The text and everything, that's what's coming along next week, and anything we don't get on from this. Looks like the original art was from a scratch board. So that's the kind of idea I was going for with this PJ. What I wanted to do was kind of emulate loosely a lino cut, the positive from a lino cut. And all of this stuff around here, I wanted bits of chatter in there. Those are the little fragments that sometimes pick up ink. And Oliver's saying he might watch the second part of the crossover on YouTube, so it feels like a proper TV show. Okay, yeah, it's fine. It's all good. Right, so where shall I start? Shall I just start with the sort of hound shape just for the minute? So, of course, this is a mad scribble just here, so I'm going to have to try and rectify things as I go along. I'm going to zoom right in big to work with this. Now, just on a screen to my right, I have some pictures of Irish wolfhounds, which is the dog I've chosen to do here, or to represent the hound. I think in the Basil Rathbone film, then in that one they used a Great Dane, I think. From there, it looked great crazy when it came out from underneath the trapdoor. That's a spoiler, but then again, that film was made in, I don't know when, 1927 or something like that. Crazy, I don't know. And Gareth would like it to say, only if next week starts previously on Tony Harmer. PJ saying, put your artwork in isolation mode and the others layers dim out. That is true, but at the moment, this is a template layer. PJ, that's why it's dimmed out. If I turn that off and go like that, you'll see it's full artwork, and I need to better work on the other layers. So turning on template allows me to use the dim images feature just there. Right, so I think what I'm going to do is just draw a couple of important parts here, which will be some sort of teeth shapes. Now I'm going to use a bit of artistic license here as well. I'm going to use the pencil tool to draw these, and I'm going to hit return, and it's going more towards accurate, which is fantastic. It's exactly what I want. In fact, I might actually go full on accurate just for now. Please add the previously in that exact voice. I will do. You know, I'm a trained voice artist. You know that. It's not that you'd guess half the time, but I actually am. I've done courses and all sorts of junk. I'm trying to draw on a template layer, and I should have noticed. Immediate clue was there's a no icon next to my pencil. So let's target the actual layer and let's get going. We're drawing that. Now, because I'm going to be doing a lot of drawing, accurate's not going to work. Because I'm going to be doing a lot of drawing here, it's probably a good time to like ask questions, make stuff in the chat, all of that good business. Yeah, it's probably a good time to do that. So I'm just making a few shapes here just at the minute. I want a kind of a canine shape there, or a molar shape at the back. That's pretty good. Let's get something else going just here. I'm going to draw those in one part, I think. Just like that. There we go. And again, I want another sort of thing. I've just realised I've drawn that upper molar the wrong way around, which is not a problem, because I can just delete it and draw again. Or is it? No, it is actually. That was the right way around for the top ones, I think.
You're drawing directly onto a screen, like an
I am. Yeah, so I'm not drawing onto an iPad, but I am drawing onto a screen display, a pen display. And the pen display that I'm actually using is the SenseLabs PD24. PD, just in case you can't unravel that particular abbreviation, is pen display. Super good. So yes, I am. And if you're able to do so, I'm just rotating the canvas here. If you're able to do so, I thoroughly recommend that you do that. Right, so here I just want to get a couple of shapes in here. So basically I'm just drawing a nose shape just there for the moment, because there is a slight, I'm just going to use another piece of reference material here. Let me just zoom in on that and just have a look at the nose. Yeah, it's going to work. That's good. Okay, so that works okay. And then I'll go back to my pencil here and draw this around like that. And use my trackpad to spin that around a bit further. Caroline loves the pencil tool now. What does the 24 stand for, says Oliver? Really, Oliver? It's 24 inches. That's what it stands for. I'm glad you like the pencil tool now, Caroline. It's a good tool. You know, it really is. It's but it's so much easier if you're using something like this. By the way, there's a deliberate departure just there from the sketch in that point there, because the lower jaw on a Irish Wolfhound is actually not that thick. Not as thick here, but this is hair coming down. So that in my sketch, that's what I'm kind of thinking of that particular time. I'm then going to resume drawing from a point here and then just curve this around to draw into the throat just there. And then I want to get this all important sort of chest region into the abdomen. There, like so. And then around here, so I'm going to bring that in and down. And there's going to be a point here where we can't really see anything else from the feet. And this is the leg that is the sort of the leg behind, just there. Let's just trim those two together. That works pretty well. So I'm going to do something else to texture this out and roughen it up around the edges once I've done. So go around there. This time I'm using Shift H to rotate the canvas to an angle that I want to work with, and the spacebar down. Just go ahead and do that. And I think I'm just going to draw up to that point there, just for the moment. There we go. Let's draw it over there and then there. Great stuff. That will do fine just for the minute. Okay, and just erase part of that. There we are. That's good. And into this, just here. So I'm going to make a little bump in there and into the forehead region. Something like that. The ear, I'm going to draw something like that. So, I mean, the sketch is exactly that. It's a sketch. So, once again, pick that up just there. Pause for a moment. Allow it to work out that I'm going to change direction. So what do you guys use to draw at the moment? Are you plotting all of your points with like the pen tool, or do you use a tablet to draw with? What's that, Chloe?
Obviously crayons.
Crayons. I have neither the time nor the crayons to explain this to you. Do you remember that from the other week? I'm going to need to make a quick cut there, so I'm just going to get that eraser tool and flip across that. Hold down the Command key, grab that chunk of path just there, then select this one, switch back to the pencil tool, and then bring that in. It needs to be a bit thicker just there, and let's see if that then connects. Not quite. So we'll just do that again. Up to about there, leave a gap, target both, Command J, and that's it, joined. There we go. And hit escape to cancel the rotation. That's fine for the minute. I think I'm going to need another tooth shape in there as well, so we'll do that now. Let's go for something like that. That's cool. Sandrine. Dun, 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 dun. I see a strong Mrs. Coleman. Yeah, inspiration here. Mrs. Coleman. I've never heard her referred to as Mrs. Coleman before. She's what Sandrine's referring to. She's talking about my friend Sarah. Crayons. Peter Beck uses a tablet. Gareth uses the save option. Yeah, cool. Sandrine's in a bit of fresco on the iPad. Not much drawing at the moment, unfortunately. You can marry your iPad up to your Mac display, you know, Sandrine, if you want to. You can make those two things work. And yes, Inkymol. I'm just going to select all of those things, switch to the shape builder, and then just come along and remove the bits that I don't want here, like that bit. Whoops, wrong bit. There we go. Let's go for the path segment. There, okay, might be a bit of joining needed. Oops. That's going to get that whole bit. I wonder why. Let's switch to the trackpad just for a minute. There we go. And get rid of that bit just there. That bit there. I mean, I could, something else I could do, you know, would be to just go into add mode and switch across into both of those things. But that's not going to work very well. Let's clip away those. There we go. You'll have to update me, Chloe, on what There we go. Quick Command J, and they're all joined together. And just drop out that part there. Einar? Einar here? Yeah. Keeping my back end busy with Adobe Acrobat, Adobe upgrades and stuff. We should get lost in Iceland together. It would be much more fun. Take care, Ninja Guru. Thanks. Yeah, that's a great idea. We should absolutely should do that. Sandrine uses a PC. Ah, right. Okay. Yeah, Sidecar. Yes. Hi, Jane. Not really. Yeah. What's who saying, Peter? Swear filter works. Swear filter would be nice, but I mean that's fairly sort of moderate swearing. Oh right, okay. Oh, that's true. Yeah, well, with Windows you've got that on a desktop. That's true. Right, now I'm just having a quick look at this. I'm just going to do another Command J because I separated the nose afterwards. That looks a bit like a dragon nose. Let's just zoom out just for a minute. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to use Puppet Warp, I think. Or am I going to cut it and just resize it? Because there's a couple of shapes there I'm not mad for. But then again, it will have a few bits just there. And also, because I'm doing thick lines so that you can see things more clearly, what I perhaps should do is swap that. That looks fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay. So we'll just do that. Back to there and a quick save. You couldn't hear me? That's weird. Anybody else getting an audio issue back there? Nobody else is saying anything, Peter. So, yeah, sound okay? Yeah. Ah, okay, fine. Cool. Right, so back in here, I'm going to draw this approximate Clory leg shape. Like that. And I'm going to overdraw on both sides there, I think. Pause and grab. There, like so. And then just bring that in. Right, I've made that way too slow. That. There. And Option key down and smooth that out. That, remember, if you might remember from previous things, but if I just go for the tool options, this is the one that I keep selected with this particular tool. Option key toggles to smooth tool. By the way, that is available in InDesign, but InDesign doesn't have this option inside of the tool options. You just do it and it just goes, all right, I know what to do with that. It's just one of the weirdnesses of InDesign using an earlier version of the Illustrator drawing engine, which is what it does. And so some of the things carry across, but the engineers haven't included it in the option. Right, let's get some shape builder stuff on here and clear out some of these. Right, so I'm going to try that the other way around because I think it should create me that join in the first place. There we go. No. Just Command J there to complete that one. Not 100% happy with this shape. Starting to look a bit like a lion rampant, that just at the moment, but I'm okay with it just for the minute. There we go. And up and into there. Up, just pausing for a sec. I can tell you what some of the advantages are with the one that I'm using for those of you that are interested in the Sense Labs tablet. The main one being that that's interesting. That's not joining together. The main one being that there's no fan noise from it, so we don't get any noise coming through on the stream from the fan, nor do we have to go and do any work on it afterwards to get rid of the fan noise. It doesn't have a fan at all, so it's got one of those super clever heatsink dispersal things, which is cool. Also, even though the Wacom, well, there's one over there in the recording area that has, even though that's supposed to have a dull screen, you would always get glare from the lights. I don't get any glare from the lights on this screen at all. It's super, super clever. I like it a lot. But they are really, really gaining some traction. I need to look at the eye position on this because I want it to look a little bit mad and angry. And also, there's every chance it may be a different colour. Yeah, in a bit, that's cool. Let's deselect that, go for the join tool. Yeah, I think that's going to work. I need to just make sure this is a complete shape just for a minute. So I'm just going to grab that entire thing, do one more Command J, and it should close any open parts. That's good. I might even move that up to its own layer. So let's just call this one Hound. Just there, and then select that content using the proxy and drag that up onto that layer, then lock it, and that's fine. I could even switch that out actually. Let's just select it one more time. Shift X, and then I'm going to do Command 8, which will make it a compound path. So that shape there will punch out. Right, let's go to the house part down here, because this is going to take a little bit longer to draw. There's still more to do on the hound, by the way. That's just the basic shape. How much is a Wacom at 24 inches? I don't know. We've got the one over, the only one left in here now is the one over where the course recording is done over there, and that is a 24 on a studio arm that will be leaving here in November, because everything in here is going to be Sense Labs. For now, you have to save up your paper around money for one of those. I don't know how much they are, Sandrine. I really, really don't. It is furious. It's mad. So just so you know, David, right? The Hound of the Baskervilles. So it's not. The idea is, right, that it looks supernatural and all of that stuff, and of course it's not supernatural. It's a murder plot and all of that. But somebody keeps a hound, a very large hound, like sort of Great Dane or Irish Wolfhound size, under a trapdoor, okay, underneath a gravestone cover. So they have to slide the gravestone cover to the side and then release the trapdoor, yeah, to then let the hound have scent of something, and then the hound goes tearing after it, and of course it's ravenous plus angry because it's been kept in the dark. But there you go. And we're getting some pricing information in there. You could buy a car for that price. The Wacom 24 is expensive. The Sense Labs one is not. It's expensive, but I think it's 1,800 quid. I think, but it's not as expensive as the Wacom or similar. Hello, Dave. Crikey, you not at work today? I thought Tuesdays you were in your office. Or are you? There we are. Yeah, 1900 to 2200 for a Cintiq 24s. Yeah, so that's what that one is over there. You can buy a car for £2,000. Yeah, not at the minute. Over again, the Wacom Cintiq Pro 24 is the same price as the Sense PD 24. Yeah. You put the 18K mark there, Oliver. I think you meant 1.8. Ah, right, working from home today. What tablet am I using? I'm not using a tablet. I'm using a director-screen display. 18K would be a lot for a tablet. It would. I'd expect the tablet to actually do the drawing for me at that particular time. I really, really would. If you go to senselabs.com, right, I'm just going to pop that in the chat myself. You can see the PD24 on their site, or in fact I could even grab it for you. Let's just create a new thing, and then you can see the difference between not a tablet, pen display. They do tablets, yeah, but they've also got a pen display, which I'm just about to bring on screen for you now. So just bear with me a second while the screen redraws itself with that at the right size. Let me just skip through to the next product. So these are some of their other tablets just on here. I should be able to move, whoops. And that's Rebel 6, which is great. But there's the pen display 24. Right, so I'll just take you through to that. This is what it looks like. It's nice and lightweight. It's thin. It doesn't bulk out at the shoulders like the Wacom does. It's VESA compatible on the back, so if you've got a VESA mount or a VESA Studio arm, you can fix it to that. Comes with, whoa, I've just lost a display for a second. Oh, it's back. Comes with a nice little set of nibs and everything in there. There you go, all of that good stuff. So all the little nibs at the top. You also get its quick keys, which I'm just going to detach from mine. Right, so the difference with these quick keys, and I think I've got a Wacom one somewhere, right, is that you don't have to guess what you've input the things. You can actually see them on here. Sorry, yeah, go big just for a second, Chloe, please. Yeah, so you can actually see them here like that. There we go. Okay, so that's how that works, and you can change the orientation to suit you. So it's got scroll wheel at the top. It's got various different functions, so you can tap through all of your different functions. And the driver, just go back to the regular share, Chloe. The driver is fabulous. And when you see it, compared to the driver of, for some reason it's not running, compared to the driver of Wacom, right, it's much, much prettier. I wonder why that's not showing just at the moment. Let me just go ahead and get that open. There we go. Right, so it looks like this. Yeah, it's all nice. You've got all of these different things. You've got a load of rings at the top of the screen, just there. You've got your 3-button pen. You also get a thin pen, and then you've got your quick keys device there. So there we go. But investigate that at your own time. Of course, that's not all we're doing today. And Dave is agreeing. It's a good old piece of kit. It's a tool used daily, then price comparable with an Apple display or a MacBook Pro. It's just priced for what it is. Yeah, and then the Apple display or won't do anything that the Sense Labs does for you. Most important, Oliver saying, most important is not Wacom, so it doesn't need the Wacom drivers. Absolutely. You can buy a house for that amount in Thailand, but how's the Wi-Fi? Uma. It's probably great, actually. Yeah, it's got a jog and shuttle. Yeah, you can use it in that way, so you can set it up for Premiere to use it as jog shuttle if you want to. I've got a wheel on my display tablet too, and you can't really leave it. Yeah, the tablet I've got over there somewhere, that's got a wheel on it too. And Einar wants to know if I've got time for a quick chat. Yeah. Not today, Einar, but maybe later on in the week. Absolutely. I'm only working a couple of hours a day at the moment. Okay, so, right, let's get on with the drawing this house just here in Illustrator. So I want to give an idea of the house without going into too much details. Premiere, all right, or After Effects, Gareth. Let's just say Adobe Video Tools, shall we? There we go. That's fold arms. So I've actually got a couple of images of Baskerville Hall, or the house used as Baskerville Hall. The only problem is that they're rights restricted. So if I bring them onto the screen, I have to pay the fee for them, which I'm not going to do. So you'll just have to watch me draw them without any reference whatsoever. So I'm going to actually use a building block approach to this. So this is going to be one unit just here. I'm going to swap that over, Shift X. And I'm going to hold down the Option key and bring that up like so, because there'll be a divider which I do want to include just there. And then I'm going to bring, just one more up to the top. So I'll just draw that using the Smart Guides just there. Something like that is good. I'm going to then move up here, and I am eyeballing this completely. And hold down the Option key and draw out of it like that. I think that works pretty well. Something like that. And then I'm going to draw another rectangle that meets up with pretty much both of those across like that. There we go. Something like that I think is going to work well, but we'll find out in just a moment. I've just changed my mind. Well, not changed my mind, but I'm going to just put in those tiny little detail parts just here, just now, like that and like that. Oh, they only need to go over to one side, like that. Buddy the Dachshund is making his presence known in the house. Can you hear him? Fantastic. Okay, I'm actually going to grab all of those just for a minute. I'm going to create a copy over here. Oh, mind you, no, it's an easier way for me to do that. I'm going to join all those together, so I'll pathfinder those things together. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a quick look here, and I need to add in something else. So I am actually going to undo that pathfinder operation. I forgot I need a couple of squares just here, just like that is good. Option dragging a copy over this way, that is good also. Then I'll grab all of that, and I'm going to shape builder it actually, just because it will be easier. So put all of those together, option key down, get rid of those, sweet, and then switch to the direct selection tool for the next bit, which will be to pick up two of the points here like so, and pull those in like that. Then pick up maybe these 2 points and give them a slight curve outwards. That looks pretty good. And then at the top I need kind of an ellipse. So rather than being kind of an ellipse, I actually want an ellipse. So I'm going to draw something like that. I think that needs to actually meet those shoulders. So we'll go to that, zoom in, and then just resize that to work nicely there. Good stuff. Okay, that looks all right. I think that looks like one of the profiles that I actually want. Give it a tartan pattern, you have a nice flask. True. Let's have a quick look. What we need is express now, runs away. From Blenheim to Brighton Pavilion is one click with the round corner widget. I suppose, yeah, it would be, I guess. Yeah, it would be. Right, then I need to start thinking about some windows in here. Oh, that's too steep at the top. So I'm actually going to go ahead and change that, bring that down just a little. I'm not trying to accurately draw, by the way, the building next to me, but just close enough. While I've still got that point selected, I'm going to tap S for the scale tool and then just bring that in like that, just to scale in those handles. And actually I might try that with these two as well. Let's see if I can scale those down a little bit. There we go. Good, that works. Okay, then some window shapes. Obviously rectangles will make a good fit here, so there needs to be a fairly small window at the top. If you ever read the book, you will find out that the second, or watch the old Basil Rathbone movie, you will know that the second floor window has a part to play. You ever read it, Chloe? No. Did you read it at school or anything?
No, I don't think so.
No. Schools. I'm just going to drop in a 2 pixel gutter between each of those, like that. So that's my formula for this. Is going to be a 2 pixel gutter. Then underneath that, now there would be a relationship, right, between these windows. They would have a similar width at the very least, although the ones higher up would be more than likely to be longer, because that would be where other people lived, and the ones underneath wouldn't exist. Injustices, that's what I say. So let's split this into a grid as well. 1, 2, and 1, 2, just there, and tab through, 1, 2, 1, 2, just there. See, nice and easy to do that. Then I'll grab that lot and bring that down towards the bottom, where actually, do you know what, that would be a longer window at the bottom. So all I'm going to do is just grab another row from there, bring it down, and wait until Illustrator says it's the same size. There we go. Fantastic. That works pretty well. Let's go ahead then and use the shape builder here. So Shift X first of all to change the fill and stroke around. Then Option key down and just go and punch out the bits we don't want here. Nice and easy, like that. Whoops. I'm just thinking about it. Not every window would be lit up, would it, at night time? So we'll just do the top ones. We'll just do those, and I might even, well, we've got a framework there we can change around. I'm just going to use the merge command here in the truth pathfinders and choose merge, so that gets rid of everything else we don't need. Just there. Then O for the reflect tool, and just drop a copy of that over there. So the key I use there, by the way, just in case you don't know, is the Option key or Alt key. I could use that middle one. They are the same width-ish. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to option that down and then get rid of these bits here in the middle. So I'm going to tap P for the pen tool and then go over these and option hit those, or just subtract them, actually, not even option, just subtract them away. Just like that. There we go. Good, good, good. Okay, so they're going to join up like that. That looks kind of interesting. There would actually be a small roof in the middle here, and I'm actually going to add that in a sec, I think. Then I'm going to double click on this one. So this is a compound path that I'm working in at the moment, just here. So I could get the lasso tool here and select these points. Then let's tap V and hold down the Alt or Option key. No, that's not going to work. I thought it might work. But good try, no cigar. Let's move that in a bit. And we'll come back to that in a sec. Let's get those reflected over onto the other side as well. I'm just eyeballing that over. There we go. And I should be able to switch to the shape builder again and just remove these parts. And I think we'll just get one window downstairs. Mind you, we've got a door as well. And again, we don't want too much detail in there. Okay, that's cool. Let's do one of these windows at the top here. So I'm going to draw in another rectangle because this shape is going to mess with that building. There we go, like that. I don't want it to be square. Thanks very much. Get the pen tool, go for the middle, click to add another point, use the arrow keys to move that up, and then draw in another window just there. Caroline saw the film a long time ago. I saw it yesterday. There you are, Mutant TARDIS at the moment. Yes. How will you marry the clean lines of the geometric shapes of the house to the hand-drawn etching style of the rest of the cover? Well, you'll have to wait and see, Gareth. But I will be messing it up a little bit. I'll be messing up the dog lines and all sorts of stuff. Oh, you've got to go. Oh, sorry, Sandrine, take care. I'm just making sure they're aligned to the center. Then I'm going to go for this path here and split that into a grid. Now this time, this is just going to have 4 panes of glass. Okay, so this will probably be where a butler slept. Something that should never exist ever again, but there we are. So let's change turn preview on. Change the number of rows to 2. Ooh, it can't do it because it's too small. It doesn't like it. I'm just going to resize it. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Not that that's something that anybody should be doing. So we'll do that. We'll change that to there like so. 10 pixels going to be a bit heavy. And we'll go with 8. And 2 columns, and we'll go with 8 just there as well. Nice. And we'll just bring that down, resize it down. I'm going to group it temporarily so that we can make sure that those 2 things are aligned together. So I'm clicking that all important second time to be able to change that, and Command Y just to go into outline mode, just taking a look at that, then back out. Select those 2 things and then just punch these out like so. There we are. That will work well. So just drag another one of those over to here. Ooh, that distance is bigger. Why? Why is that distance bigger? Let's have a quick look at that, see if there's any. That's weird. Ah, it's because I flipped it and those aren't quite in the middle. Okay, that's fine. Well, it's a tiny detail at the back, so it can just be nudged over like that. That'll do. Perfect. Okay. And then we just need to add in a couple of chimney stacks. There need to be some stacks in there. So let's draw maybe a stack here. Are you all right, Chloe?
Mm-hmm.
Good, good. And let's get the Option key and do that. Something like that. Put some pot shapes on the top once we've got those aligned. And really they only need to be like that would never be like that. There we go. That works. Join that together. Then go to the reflect tool, create a copy of that. Just mess that around a little bit so it's not completely symmetrical. And there we go. That's good. And I'm going to use a merge action again. Actually, we could do the whole thing. Ooh. Why is that not merging? Okay, we'll do a pathfinder. Oh, it already is. That was odd. Just checking that out. It had already done it, but wasn't showing me. Dun, dun, dun. Sean! I was looking for you earlier. Where you are. Where you are. So I'm going to go and watch Sean's stuff. I unmuted Behance so that I could go ahead and watch it. Went looking for you. Nowhere. Nowhere to be seen. Disappointment. Massive. Right, so let's go ahead. And Peter's loving this, by the way. I am very glad, Peter. This is good news. So I need some additional shapes in here because there would be some other dark shapes in there. Just trying to eyeball this one across like so. There we go. Let's go with something like that. Let's tap D to give me the default. Now my default is slightly different in this document because when I created the new document, in fact, let me just show you. When I created the new document, D is white fill, no stroke. So what I did with the stroke, with the fill in front, is I hit the slash key. Okay, so there'd be no fill. Then I drew a shape the way I wanted it to be. Now to make it easier for you to see, I always do my lines at 8 point here, even if they're not what I want at the time, but I always draw them at 8 point. And once I got that, I went ahead, and so that's the default style, that one at the front there. It's one you can't delete. So if I do select all unused and hit delete, yeah, you'll see that one always stays because Illustrator has to have that one. I then drag this in, and rather than creating a new style, if you hold down Alt or Option and target that, that creates the new default. So it doesn't matter what I do to this. Yeah, if I hit D, it will set it back to the default like so, provided your keyboard setup is standard, which it doesn't have to be, but you know, it does help. So I'm going to go for the pen tool just here, just for a minute. Now this is going to be a digital document, so it doesn't need to have any bleed at all. And the size, by the way, that I'm working at is 26 something. I'm going to tell you what it is in a second. Let me just go to the artboard tool. 1600 by 2560, which is the recommended size for things on the Amazon bookstore. And I don't know why I've selected that, because I don't need to. I'll deselect it. I'll go for my join tool, which I've put in my own convenient little toolbox there. And then I can go and work on this, because that's, of course, being smoothed out by the pen tool. So if I change the option here, left arrow key to move that across, hit return. And then let's go and overdraw some of these things. So I just want some of these shapes just here like so. You sure you're right, lovey? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Something like that. Let's get rid of that kink there. And there we are. Don't like that bit. Didn't quite join up. Good. Okay. Nice. I'm going to keep those just as they are. I don't need to. They can stay together in that way, as their own individual parts. Let's save that and have a quick catch up on the chat. Sean, what time do you stream on a Tuesday? I keep going along at midday and like 12 o'clock. That is midday, and then 2 o'clock. Or Narnia midday time, which is 11:31. That sort of time. Sean streamed from about 11:30 to 14:15. Why was it not showing up then? 5:30 a.m. Someone else was in at 5:30 this morning. What was the name of that person? Graphic Jules. There you go. I don't even know if Graphic Jules is still here. There's an easy way to find out though. Yeah, at Graphic Jules is still here. So he was in early as well. 5:30. It's a good time to be around. 5 o'clock, 5:30. Good time. Right then. So I need a guide, and I'm going to drop that onto another layer. So I'm going to call this foreground there just for the minute, and lock it. Let's go ahead and add a new layer. Command L, Control L. I'll just call that guide, enigmatic. And then I'm going to tap L on my keyboard. I am going to. Now I'm actually going to use a few fingers on my hand, which is handy. I'm going to hold down the Option key and the Shift key, like so. Okay, so to do that, I'm using my ring finger and my middle finger, because it's not in quite the right position. So I'm then going to press down on the space bar with my index finger. How descriptive is this? And move it into place. And then once it's in place, I can just keep releasing the spacebar, because the spacebar just suspends the drawing operation. while you do that. And then that's, and then didn't release all the other keys. But shift and option down, then I'll release the trackpad, then I'll do that. Then command 5 to turn that into a guide like that and lock it. Good. Let's go ahead and add another layer here now. So earlier, before we started, I created two other graphic styles. And to show you what they do, when I can find my cursor, just hold on a second. Where are you? Over there on screen 3. Okay, so I'm going to draw a couple of lines just here. So I'll get the line tool, draw one line there, and then another line next to it. Perfect. Let's get both of those and tap D so that you can see them. So the first graphic style, okay, is this. It's basically just a tapered start. And the second graphic style is a full taper, both ends. And of course, because these are done with the width tool, that means they can be changed because the width tool, strangely enough, yeah, is width specific. So whatever size you enter in here, yeah, it will become the widest point on that path. Does that make sense? So there we are. That's how that works. So I've drawn those two things like that. And then I thought there are loads of different ways I could actually go about drawing these lines, but I actually want to draw them manually because it will give more of a feeling of that as I'm working through. And of course I can change the sizes of these as I work on that. And I want them to sort of be lighter, more separated around the disc, which in case you haven't guessed, is the moon. Yeah. So I want them to be more separated around near the circle and then become slightly more dense as they move out away from that circle to kind of indicate that they're night. Now the ones I've sketched are not really what I wanted here, but it was a sketch. So now I've got to try and make it up as I go along with this. There's some problems with live showing up at the moment. So I've had, there's all sorts of weird stuff going on at the moment, Caroline. All sorts of stuff. Graphic jewels, yes, still there. Friend thought it'd be funny to push me into the pool. Lucky for him, I had the laptop above water. Oh my word. That would not be fun. That would not be fun at all. Right, okay, so I've got my 3 graphic styles just there. That panel doesn't need to be anywhere near that big. And in fact, if I wanted to, I could detach it. But this is basically going to be pencil tool and graphic style. So before I start drawing, I'm going to choose my tapered start for this one. And I just want to kind of indicate a few things like so. And I'm going to go over the side. And also, I'd like these to be smooth. So let's just hit return. I'm going to use my right arrow key this time to move that across. And I'd like it to go fairly well smoothed. I would like so many. I'm sure they could give more than 5 options in there. I'm sure they could. I mean, Illustrator engineers, they're paid by the UI element. Yeah, so you could. They're not really. But if any of them are watching, they will love me saying that. Yeah, but I'm sure they could add in more control than that. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw these out like so, then just change size of that just for the minute. And I'm going to choose a few different points to indicate the way in which I'd like those lines to go. And then by doing that, I'll narrow down the options for where they're going to end up. I'll need to change stroke style in a moment. Let's just go ahead and go down here. And I'm also going to rotate the artboard around a bit. Yep, something like that. So by doing this, by dividing this up, I'm actually making it easier for me. You can tell when I'm using the trackpad because it takes a moment or two for me to do it. I do it in 2 or 3 different movements. Whereas if I do it this way, I also have to switch tools. There we go. Yeah, so it just divides up the space. Makes it easier for me to work. In fact, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to, whereas I've cut these in already, I'm wondering if I actually want to do that here, or if I just want to carry on and draw the shapes, but let's go with it. There we go. Great thing is here is while it's still selected, if you want to change the direction or the length of it, it's really easy to do. That might be good. How are we doing? We've got half an hour, yeah? Cool. So now I'm going to do some more of these in between. David, are you still in and working? I know you work while you're listening. Are you still hovering about? Did we get a chance to find out how you did with your stall at the weekend? David had a stall at a comics gig that he was at. Yes. How did it go? Let's have a quick. Oh, what's going on there? There's no live schedule anymore. Yeah, that's weird. You can get back to the live page when you click on the view all button. Very roundabout way. That's strange. Right. Comic-Con was amazing. Fantastic. And someone is Tony live. Yeah, there's a live link on top of him, but now schedule bottom. Weird. But no, I went looking for Sean's earlier and I could see nothing. And because these are, unlike when I'm working in fresco, because these are paths that I can edit, I can go ahead and change whatever I want in here after the fact. So it doesn't matter how wobbly it may get. God, my eyes are starting to sting now, Chloe. Oh, it's got the tired's. So like this one, for example, I don't like that line at all. But the great news is I can just go ahead and click one of the anchor points and then just get in there and move that anchor point around and job done, sorted. So I can go with any of these things here and move them into position, which is a lot easier. And I can nudge them as well, which is what I'm doing with the arrow keys there, which is a lot easier than someone coming up and saying, you know, those lines look a little bit too tight together. Can you fix that? You know, and you have to erase them and redraw them, which isn't a big deal. If you draw all the time, not a massive deal at all. But that's why this way, I find this way a lot easier. And I can bring down the width of that one. There we go. So I'm getting a kind of a, and this one here, what happened there? That wasn't very good penmanship, was it? I can go to that end point and say go away, and then it's gone. And I can just bring that in however I want. Let's change the bend on that a bit further. Bless you.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. It's all right. I haven't said anything to make you cackle for a little while. Shall we discuss more the finer points of people and their behaviour? We went to a safari park on, was it Saturday? It was Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We went to a safari park on Saturday, and there were some of the people there were like the rudest people, just rude. Anyway, let's have a quick catch up on what. This is a thing, Peter. Right, with that, unless you're chosen for Behance, featured streamer, you can't put anything in the schedule. You can't like plan a stream and all of that stuff. And if you start the thing up too early, like start the process too early, as I found out earlier, Behance kicks you out after 10 minutes if you haven't started streaming. Anyway, David came home exhausted but exhilarated. It looked like you were having a whale of a time. His Sharkticon and Spider-Punk prints were very popular. I'm not surprised. Was that was the one that didn't some young lad draw one of those for you as a gift? Which is good. Nice. Yeah, schedule stuff. Right, okay, let's carry on drawing some of these in. What is it now?
Oliver says Behance kicks him out all the time, regardless of what he's doing.
Oh dear. This is not the future you're looking for. See, just a tiny, tiny bend around on those handles. Pull these into place. You know, I need to leave some room around I can't go too close to the actual animal because there'll be more detail going on there. But I just want to draw. If it's fine for Maddie Bellwall to just draw, it's fine for me too. That young boy loved the print. He got so much when he immediately drew a copy of it for it. That is lovely. Yeah. Are you WTFing because of the Behance schedule, Peter? Of course, WTF meaning when? This Friday? Yeah, I don't know. Behance does so much that's good for creators, though. This so I was talking to my friend Tiggs the other day. A lot of you have seen Tiggs on Adobe Live. So I was talking to her and I was telling her about the new asset stream stuff that you can do. So you can put assets onto Behance so that actually is a marketplace. You know, and that's really good for creators. That is, it's a great thing to have. So they get so much right. But then with the live streaming, not so much. That's, you know, it's not their best area, sadly, at the moment. But let's just change the width of that one. So something I can't do with the pen tablet is scroll over that field. But then again, I could set that to something on my... so I'm zooming in and zooming out right now using the scroll wheel on my Sense Labs thingamywhat quick keys. Had to think about it for a moment. There we go. That's going to need to be a bit thinner, I think. I definitely don't want them all to be consistent, because that's like a real giveaway. And I'm just going to hold down the Option key there and smooth that out a bit. That's cool. And then just dive in and move a couple of these things around. There we are. Just like that. So a quick look at where we are so far. So that's working out right, I think. Okay, David, enjoy dinner. Good man. I find it odd that the Adobe Live team seem just as bewildered by the Behance changes around live streams as everyone else does. Well, it's a separate organisational unit within the Adobe family. Behance is an Adobe thing, but everybody imagines that Adobe's way more joined up. And I'm not telling. This isn't like a secret or anything like that. But just so you understand, that everybody thinks Behance is way more joined. That Adobe generally is way more joined up than it actually is. It's a big company. It's massive. It's not like you can just wander. If you've got a particular thing with Photoshop or Illustrator, you can't just wander around the corridor and say, "Is there anybody from the Photoshop team here?" or whatever. It just doesn't. It just doesn't work like that. And nor does any other big corporation really. Oliver's saying, "I know, but it just seems odd that one team wouldn't talk to the next." But there's so many different people to talk to, Oliver. That's the thing. You can't. It's not. It just isn't that easy, and it isn't that easy for a number of reasons. Because otherwise, people wouldn't get their actual work done. I do understand also in the same breath what you're saying, but it's just so big, so big, and that's the problem. That it takes, it takes effort to get things done. That needs to be longer. Let's make that one longer. Is that my dappy dog again? Mm-hmm. He's outside the studio. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Daddy, when are you coming in for dinner? Daddy. Although I work in IT, so I don't know why I'm surprised. There you go, you see. Yes, suggestion box. I mean, ultimately, we're all customers, You can always, there are plenty of mechanisms you can use to communicate with those people. And if there's something that you want to change, then let them know. They want to know. They want you to have like the best experience with these things, and they are largely engineers who have limited understanding. Just going to use another tool here just for a minute. Of many things, but they understand engineering really well, and unless you actually say to people, this experience isn't what I'm really expecting, then they're not going to do anything to change it because they don't know the answer. You need to give them that information first. So go ahead and talk to people. I don't quite know where the forms go for. I'm not. So I've just gone for the eyedropper just here and noticed it's not changing the profile. So I'll just hit the return key for my eyedropper options. And I'm just going to go to appearance and make sure. Yeah, it should be picking all of those up. And it should be applying all of those. So let's try that again. No, it's not though. Maybe because it's got a graphic style on it. That'll be why. There we go. Mystery solved. As the community forum and also user voice. Is user voice still active for Behance though? Because it's not active for some things. It's like they need another team to be the middleman. There is another team to be the middleman, but they're not customer facing. They're called the Avengers, and they live in a tower. Whoops. No, I just want to be quicker to do this and just bend this around. There we go. I like that. That's much nicer. So just so you know, next week, by the way, I will have completed all of these for you. I'm just enjoying the chat as we're working our way around. If there's any particular tip or something you do want to see this week in the remaining sort of 15 minutes, pop it in the chat, because I don't mind diverting away from this for a moment. If there's a particular thing you came here wanting to learn, I'm open to it. I am. Let's get some more of these short ones. And the Option key comes to my rescue just there. Don't like this one at the top there. Hey, when David said he'll be back in a minute, he's going to eat his dinner. I hope he's not bolting his food. I'll have to tell him off. God, I'm everybody's dad. Angus! Hello. Hello. And keep an eye on that chat, Chloe, just in case somebody does say, oh, by the way, how do you do this? Or whatever, and let me know straight away, because I can, I don't mind diving in. Something like that. I'm going to switch graphic styles there. And here also.
Jane said, how about holding shift trick when removing an anchor point? It apparently doesn't deform the path. I just learnt it.
Okay. Yeah, that's so I know what she means. Let's have a quick look. Let's create a new document quickly. Let's draw a path. Let's do it with the pencil tool. There we go. Okay, and that's just fine. So Jane's question is, I'm just going to cut that. That's me, not the software, by the way, adding that bent end in there. Jane is asking about removing a point but keeping the shape of the path. So if I switch to the pen tool just for a moment, and let's say I remove this one just here, then it resolves that by basically changing the shape of the path. So what if I wanted to do it using the handles? Well, the answer is this. You need to actually use the delete anchor point tool. Yeah, and you can see that they've already got keyboard shortcuts attached to them. Right, so plus and minus. So if I tap minus on my keyboard, I'm in the delete anchor point tool. Now, if you go to the point and just click it, it will have the same behavior. However, if you hold down the shift key when you click it, it forces Illustrator to reevaluate it. Yeah. And I mean, there will be a point where it cannot conform to the path. So if I do here, it's going to make a slight adjustment there. I don't know if you saw that. It moves slightly to the side. Yeah. So if I hold down the shift key there, because it's got to, because there's no way of smoothly resolving those things. But otherwise, if it can resolve them, then it will. There you go, Jane. No, it does really work, but you have to have the right tool selected. It doesn't work with the pen tool. It has to be the delete anchor point tool. Yeah, which, as you've seen, plus is the add anchor point tool. But those were years and years ago, donkeys years ago, were added into the intelligent cursor thing. So when you're working with the pen tool, right, if you connect to the thing, when you draw new points, it just draws new points. Yeah. If you want to add a new point, you simply go to a point on the path and it changes to the add point, and then you click. Yeah. And then if you click again, it subtracts that point, but you don't get any of that behavior. Yeah. If you hold down the shift key. Let me just undo that so you can see. So I'm just going to escape there to stop drawing. Go back up to this point. Yeah, you see it just starts me a new path. So it has to be in that particular tool. Hopefully that just tells you what you need to know. Yeah, it does work fairly well. It's pretty good. It is pretty good. It's not something I use a lot because I use other tools to do exactly that. But yeah, you can see there it's resolving that nicely. Yeah. So I'm still getting the same curve. I mean, the best way to tell ultimately, right, let me just go and add a couple more points to this path. I'm just going to drop one on here, like so. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that. Then I'm going to change the color of this path. right, to like magenta, and I need to make it a bit bigger, like so, like that. Okay, then I'll paste down in front the path I had before. Oh, I just went and got the whole segment, not the path. So we'll copy that, paste it down in front, and then I'll change the color of that. So we'll make that blue, still selected. I'm going to switch to the pen tool, go to a point, make sure you've got the delete anchor point tool, and click it. I'm not seeing any magenta there. Well, I'm seeing a tiny bit just there as it resolves that curve, but generally that is pretty much on the money just there. Now you see I've done that again, and you can see what the variation is, but that's because the difference between that handle and its control and this one, it's too great for it to actually mimic that properly because there's too much of a change in direction there. You could always try and override yourself to make that happen, and you'll see how the problem actually works. Does that make sense? Hello, Clever, by the way. Nice to see you in here. How about holding shift check when removing an anchor point? Oh right, okay, that was what I read earlier. I've had to scroll up. Is there a smart way of getting sequential artboards with sequential layers? No, the artboard. So the layers, the LPA, the layers per artboard, or having layers per artboard. I don't. That's not happened just yet. David Cousins is wolfing down his sardine, his din-dins, as his new stream starts at 6 p.m. Oh, it does with Eric. It does. Ah, yes. I'm often wary of the quick tip tutorials I see, because when I do try them, they don't work the same as advertised. Well, that, I don't know where you saw that particular tip, but generally I see people imparting tips like that and they don't explain the important parts because they're trying to get things into a 2-minute timeline. I would just rather not do it than do that. I prefer to explain stuff so you understand how and why it works. Then you can choose if it works for you. Dun, dun, dun. There you are. It's like playing 3D chess, multi-page art, multi-page layer. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of reasons why you might want to keep layers and then just have some content on some. But I can also see a reasonable argument for layers per artboard as well. I want to work up in this corner now. I'm bored with this one. I don't want it anymore, so I'm going to go up to this. I'll tell you what we could do here as well, which would be kind of nice. What layer am I on at the moment? I'm on this. That's just those things. So let's just, what is that black shape in the bottom there of this layer? I'm going to zoom. Oh, that's all of those paths. Right, okay. So I'm just going to call these radiants here, for want of a better word. I'm then going to, whoops-a-daisy. I'm going to go ahead and draw a rectangle here. So who's up to mischief now, Chloe?
No one. I can hear my daughter shouting.
Who's that? Oh, you can. Oh dear. Right, so I'm going to cut that to the clipboard. I'm then going to target the layer just here like so. So I'll just hit the layer target. I'm going to go to the transparency panel. I'm going to make a mask so all of that stuff disappears. Click on the mask, Command F to drop that down. Then click back onto the artwork. And that way everything's still there, but you're just seeing more of the end result. It just looks more tidy to you at the moment. There we are. So that's just how to mask a layer as well. I often get a 20-page artboard AI doc. Why though? But assets are on 2 or 3 layers. Nightmare to separate or export to AE. Right, okay. And Jane agrees with my earlier statement, presumably. What about doing some of the title of the book? No, that's for next week. That's for next week, Caroline. That'll be the next thing that we go on, just to show people that are turned up later on where we're sort of heading with this. If I just go back to the layer here, which hopefully you can see all right, just there, this is where we're going, something like this. Yeah, but we've got this lettering stuff to tackle and the type that's actually down here next week. So there we go. That's where we're heading. At the moment, we're just enjoying a chat while I draw these radials with 2 styles that I've got. Yeah, you have to wait. And if you're in for InDesign Kitchen tomorrow, we'll be picking up on the ebook, the EPUB that we started, the reflowable EPUB. And Gareth's saying, why? Because some people in the art department know how to work with motion. Then you should talk to whoever and train them, which would be good. That's what I would do. I'd negotiate with their manager and just say, look, this is causing a hold up in our workflow here. Can we talk about it? Can I show people the nature of the problem? And generally, any manager like that should kind of go, okay, I can see where you're coming from. Let's chat. And that will help you. But yeah, just start, try and get a dialogue going, Gareth. That's the best way. Work. So I've got more doggy stuff to do next week. Doggy. In the Basil Rathbone film, the dog they chose to use as the hound was brilliant. If you get a chance to look at it, the dog they chose actually comes out from under this trapdoor, and so it looks mental. It looks truly, truly enraged. Hi, David. No, not a lot. We were still drawing lines, still doing the same stuff, just more of it. Oh, and I clipped the layer so that I can draw, without worrying about untidy edges around the outside, which suddenly seems to have speeded me up in the 3 minutes and whatever I've got. 2 minutes. 3, is it? 3 now dead. Oh, yeah. Yeah, more stuff to do to the hound next week. What's that?
Just saying, because I've got 3 kids, I haven't eaten slowly in years.
I can relate. I'm going to change that one over for that. Can you see the difference that I get with those? So between those 2 things, the tapered stroke, yeah, and the tapered start stroke, it's giving me more options for how that. And the length of the stroke, of course, is also changing the width between them. So I'm pretty much just having fun with this, and then I can smooth things out later. I've just noticed 2 terrible lines, 3 terrible lines I've drawn there. Hey ho. So switching to the rotate artboard tool. I wish they could make that more elegant than it currently is, because at the moment Illustrator doesn't have a concept of spring-loaded tools like Photoshop has. So Photoshop has a thing called spring-loaded, which means if you know the keyboard shortcut for a particular tool, you can access it temporarily by holding down the tool or the tool key, and then you have access to that, and as soon as you release the keyboard, it springs back to the key you were using previously. There we are. Yes, your new show. Yeah, don't get indigestion, David. True. He always finds time to moisturise. I think I made Chloe laugh then, +5 you did. Only the pen tool that doesn't have it. What, spring-loaded functionality? No, it doesn't, because that's kind of a modal tool. as in that's expecting multiple clicks. The only way you can perform an override with that tool is by holding down the command key for the to get access to the direct selection tool. But there we are. That's it for now. Let's just hit escape so we go back into the whole thing. Command 0. This is where we're at the moment. There's a bit of work to do, but I'll do that and finish all of those little bits off so we're ready for next week. If I hide the guide layer, just here, and if I hide the sketch. Tim! Do you mean David's stream? He's such a you monkey. Anyway, right, if you come into InDesign Kitchen tomorrow, you will see how we're going to get on with the EPUB. Then some more stuff to do just there. Tim, if you'd like to come on to that one, it's at 5 p.m. your time. That would be really nice. And thank you for all the lovely comments there. But that's it. For now, we are done for today, and see you hopefully tomorrow. That would be grand. Okay, take care now. Bye.